Hey guys, Lumineer Franz here, and I'm here with 11 new reveals. First, we have the 1 mana action Befuddle. It's a return a character or item with cost 2 or less to their player's hand. Kind of an interesting tempo trick. Some people on the face of this card would see it and be like, okay, what 2 costs can I bounce to my opponent's hand? What 2 costs can I bounce to my hand? And nothing crazy really pops up right now with on-place effects. Broom is one, I guess Simba, but nothing you really want to bounce back to hand. And similarly, if you're trying to bounce a card back to your opponent's hand, low cost, you're probably not in a great spot tempo-wise anyway. But I think the niche of this card comes in actually item slingers, the item slingers decks. Being able to get multiple activations of an item and multiple activations of a Ariel or a Maurice off of 1 item by just having this as well is definitely a utility piece that deck was sorely needing. I think it's a very niche card in a very niche deck. Therefore, I'm gonna rate it a 2 stars out of 5. It's not awful, but it's not going to see a ton of play either. Moving on, Simba, Protective Cub, 2 mana, 2/3 with Bodyguard and 1 lore. This is actually really interesting. This 2 cost breaks the power scale of 2 costs right now. Any 2 costs with an ability right now have 1 lore and 2/2. This being a bodyguard has 2/3 stats, a 1 lore, and an inkable card. This is a very good base to have in pretty much any Amber deck. Any Amber deck that was running Minnie Mouse before, right, is pretty much instantly going to be playing this card over it unless it's a princess deck. And having that extra utility of bodyguard is going to be able to protect those 1 drops that you play on turn 1. Fantastic card. I think it will see essentially play in every Amber deck that is not princesses exactly. I think they'll opt to run mini over it because of the princess energy. Because of that, I'm gonna rate it a 4 out of 5 stars with potential to move up based on the playability of Amber. We'll definitely take a look at this again closer to the end of the reveals. Moving on, we got a content creator reveal, but here we have Merlin, 4 cost, 3/4 with support, same ability as Hey Hey. Whenever this character quests, add this unit's power to another unit's power. Very simple card, pretty interesting card. From what I've played so far, it hasn't come up too much. It is a good body, although 4 mana for 3/4, you're usually getting that on a 2 lore vanilla. Do I value the support ability over an extra lore? Can't say for sure yet. Right now I'm leaning towards no. If this card supports a lot of evasive cards, you can really trade up a lot. If the meta shifts towards a go tall strategy instead of a go wide strategy, this card also increases in playability as well. Free tech card that I don't think is going to see a crazy amount of play initially unless the meta really shifts to it. So currently I'll rate it as a 2.5 stars out of 5 stars. Next we have another big vanilla. We have Kronk, 6 mana, 6/6 with 2 lore. Not too much to say here about the large vanillas. They're large, they don't have any abilities, and they have 2 lore. The playability of these cards are directly correlated to the rest of the cards in the set, so I'm probably not even going to rate these cards going forward. Mystery out of 5 stars. We'll come back to it once the full set's revealed. And here is the card that everyone blew up over, and me included. Tinkerbell Giant Fairy, a 6 cost, 4/5 shift for 4 with 2 abilities and 2 lore. First ability, Rock the Boat. When you play this character, deal 1 damage to each opposing character. AoE. Everyone wanted it. Everyone was clamoring for it. Everyone was suspecting it when we saw that Beast Wolfbane was supposed to combo with this, and now we have it. 1 damage AoE to everything, but also extra ability during your turn. Whenever this character banishes another card in a challenge, you may deal 2 damage to an opposing character. Now this is really the ability that I think puts this card in top 5 contender status. Being able to shift into this and immediately take out 2, 3, maybe even 4 cards is an insane tempo swing that we didn't have before, and it forces people to play differently. Any cards that force people to play differently, in my opinion, are no less than 4 stars, but currently I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 stars. It is such a meta-defining card, I think. Obviously, I think we will revisit this once the set is fully revealed, but for now, I'm all in on the hype train on Tinkerbell Giant Fairy, 5 out of 5 stars. Here's a card that ruined a draft format for a day or two. Pongo, 4 mana, 2/3 evasive with 2 lore. This is the cheapest 2 lore evasive card we have. Can be traded evenly with Han, which is probably fine. It seems pretty balanced because of that, but it slots into the current Ruby Emerald evasive deck Just throw all the evasives on the field and hope the opponent doesn't have anything to do with it. I think this card will see play in evasive decks specifically. It might be too expensive to see play in other Ruby decks that aren't evasive focused. I think the evasive deck might be a very good deck, so for now I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Ooh, these are cool. The duality of Jetsam and Flotsam. Jetsam being a 4-mana 3/3 with evasive and the ability to give other cards named Flotsam evasive. Also one more. Very cool dynamic between these two, very similar to Mickey and Brooms, but instead they work off each other rather than Brooms just working off Mickey. I think in Amethyst decks right now, you're choosing to run either the Mickey Broom line or the Jetsam Flotsam line. Right now with evasives, I think people are going to be leaning towards Jetsam Flotsam, because Amethyst doesn't have another way in its color to deal with evasives. Pretty good. I think these are both going to probably correlate to each other in terms of playability. They have a chance to be played in most Amethyst decks, but it's probably splitting reps with Mickey and Brooms. So I'm gonna give Jetsam a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And before I get into it, I'm gonna give Flotsam a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Flotsam, 5 mana, uninkable, which hurts a little bit. 3/4 rush. Other characters with Jetsam gain rush. So this is 1 power less than Beast right now. However, it does gain evasive if you have a Jetsam on field. So I do like the balancing aspect of this versus Beast. There we see Maurice's item again. Please, I need to see that be a card. I really want that to be a basis of an item slinger deck. I'm really excited for that. 3.5 out of 5 stars, just like Jetsam, and I hope to see this card do some interesting things. Here we have another big boy vanilla Triton, 7 mana, 5/9, highest willpower stat in the game, 2 lore. Like I said with Kronk, I'm probably not going to specifically judge the big vanilla cards until we see the rest of the set and we do a little bit of testing. Question mark out of 5 stars for now. We'll come back to it. Before we get to the star of the show, we have 1 mana, 1/1 Lilo, 2 lore, uninkable. The exact same card as the Maleficent, the 1-cost Maleficent. Stitch Turbo gets another 1-cost 2 lore. That's probably all this is going to really be used for. Right now it's Tinkerbell bait, and people are starting to move away from playing too many 1 willpower cards anyway. I think I'm pretty low on the 1 mana 2 lore vanillas at the moment, so I'm going to give them a 2 out of 5 stars. And now the second star of the show, one of my favorite cards in the game right now. Grab Your Sword, 5 ink song. I meant ink for all the other cards. You can sing with 5 cost or less, which means you can sing this with Tinkerbell the turn it is shifted. That you have the possibility to, on turn 4, deal 3 to your opponent's board. And then this card deals 2 damage to each opposing character. Everyone was asking for AoE. We have AoE now. Steel has more board control, has a very good card to use with Tinkerbell as a small payoff. I think it's great. No notes here. I think this is going to probably be played in most, if not all, steel decks, but I don't think it's a build around it. I think it's usually not a 4 of. Eventually we'll see though. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 stars with willingness to be wrong and call it a 5 stars later. Okay, that is all of the reveals that I've missed. Awesome.